right, Halito family, this is Danielle Naniwaya, and welcome to the Oka Ohoyo YouTube channel. It's been a while since I last made a video for you all because I just been really busy just trying to take care of home and really redevelop some things in my business and things of that nature. And also, not only that, but the videos that I made in the past, it just takes so long to edit the videos, and you got to make sure that the music is going right with this picture and the audio is going right with that picture and stuff like that. And I realized too that what I'm probably going to do is I'm still going to make those type of videos, but I realized that doing it in a PowerPoint format is actually a little bit more quicker. And that's what I have for you all today is a video in a PowerPoint format. And I'm also gonna do some more just me recording myself speaking as well. But yeah, so to go moving right along to today's subject. So today's presentation is going to be called Memory in the Clothes, Autochthonous Regalia. And this is going to be a part of a series that I'm putting together for YouTube called, it's going to be on DNA memory and us accessing and activating that DNA memory. So today we're going to focus on memory in the clothes, because a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the clothing that the so-called African American and the so-called Black person wears, it stems back to our original Autochthonous American culture. So we're going to get into that. And as I stated before, I'm Danielle Naniwaya, owner of Oka Ohoyo LLC. I'm a certified community herbalist, a Reiki practitioner, future doula, and keeper of the culture. The tribes that I like to use the word clans. The clans that I descend from are the Chickasaw and Choctaw by way of Mississippi, and I majored in Afro-American and Caribbean Studies as my BA. And I also have clinical mental health background as well on a master's level. So this is just a little background, as far as my education and what I do. So genealogy and DNA memory activation. A lot of people think that they have to take DNA ancestral tests, to determine, who they are, what tribe they came from. But I personally am a firm believer of soul genealogy and finding out, who you are by way of activating the DNA memory. Because there's this concept that exists in our universe called Akasha, and Akasha basically it's this concept that all of the information from the past, present, and future is all stored within the DNA of all the natural beings on this earth and throughout the universe. So, there's different ways in which you can activate your DNA. You can, start cleansing yourself, start eating more natural foods. You need to start going out into nature and planting your feet, your bare feet into the ground. Start hugging the trees. Just start, getting yourself back associated and connected with nature, and that way you're going to be able to start unlocking more and more parts of your DNA, because the memory and the information is there. You just have to tap into it and activate it. So this is an introduction. After listening to several psychedelic soul and funk musicians of the late 60s and 70s, I came to the revelation that many of those musicians and our people in general at that time were tuned into the rhythm of the universe, aka Hawa. These musicians, artists, and activists of the time, from the Parliament Funkadelic to Tina Turner to Sly Stone and more, exuded Indigenous American culture and spirituality in their music, their art, in their political movements, and even in the way they dressed. The people of that era, were the inspiration of this presentation, and using their photos, as well as some photos of modern day celebrities and other modern day folks, I will explain the symbolic meanings behind various pieces of indigenous regalia, while in turn also showing how this regalia has remained a staple in our cultural fashion to this very day. Our feathers, our fringe, our robes, and even our braids have significant meanings. They all stem back to our original laws of nature. So, what is regalia? So this is a screenshot that I took from etimon.com, or it's called etimononline.com. And you basically can put in words on that website, and it'll give you the etymology of the word. And basically what etymology is it's the original meaning, the true meaning of the word. So if you look up the etymology of the word regalia, it goes back to the 1530s. And it can be broken down to rights and powers of a king, royal privilege, from Latin regalia, royal things. And it also says here that reg means move in a straight line, with derivatives meaning to direct in a straight line, thus to lead or rule. So if you think about it, when I read this, the etymology of this word, I was like, that makes a lot of sense, because the Aboriginals and Autochthonous peoples of this land are truly the true royals. So it makes sense that the clothing in which we wore denoted, some type of royal status and, rulership and leadership. So it makes a lot of sense when you actually look into the true meaning of the word, because a lot of people say regalia, but they really don't know what regalia means. So I took it upon myself to put this in the presentation. Feather symbolism. Okay, so I'm going to get into the meaning, the representations of the feathers, and the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to introduce a little bit of the mother tongue, and shout out to Chief Blue Feather of the Coosa Nation, because I have been I recently just started my journey within the past month or two, trying to tap back into our original mother tongue, and Chief Blue Feather has really been leading me and guiding me in that. She actually has a course on the mother tongue, and that's a really brilliant course that I recommend to you all, if you want to get into studying your original language, because there's a lot of our culture and a lot of information regarding who we are as a people, in our original language. I also was looking at some videos by a brother on YouTube named Kuramayo, and he's another person that talks about the mother tongue a lot as well. But and I'm gonna link put some information about the people that I just mentioned. I'm gonna link it in the description of this video, especially for the Coosa Nation. I'm gonna put their website. The Coosa Nation is really doing a lot of phenomenal things for the people right now. Like they do legal and lawful advocacy work for the people. They have a school called Budding Star Seed Academy, in which they have a whole platform from the younger kids, the early childhood age, all the way up to high school, and their educational platform is all centered around indigenous culture, indigenous wisdom, indigenous sciences. They also have a clinic called Mahawahe Clinic, which I am currently one of the practitioners for the clinic right now, volunteering, and it has been a real treat to just be a part of this this movement of return that the Coosa Nation is leading, you know. But anywho, back to the mother tongue. So Chief Bluefeather taught me this word Habiru, which she says is the origin of the word Hebrew. And basically what Habiru means, when you break it down, it's celebration of universal wisdom, land gods of light, and shows the path. And that was very interesting to me that she brought that up, because I was also watching the Brother Caramel, like I said, and he was dropping some knowledge on some of the Semitic words, Ibra and Ebers. The words Ibra and Ebers, which is related to the word Hebrew, means region beyond or opinion. Now you guys might be asking, what the heck is opinion? So if you look at the word pinion, pinion is the wings or feathers of a bird, which makes sense because we, the Autochthonous Aboriginal people of the land, we are known for wearing feathers. There's also another related word, an Akkadian word called abaru, or pronounced abaru, which is a related word meaning firm, fixed, strong, immovable, protection, and law. And and it's like I said, it's just so amazing when you look into the language and how it reveals so much of our culture, because that's exactly what the feathers represent. It represents being firm, fixed, strong, giving good judgment, and standing in accordance with the law and maintaining balance. That's why I put this picture right here of Ma'at, because even in ancient Kemet, that the feather was of high significance as well. And Ma'at, who governs law and balance of the universe, she's always seen wearing that feather in her hair. And even and another thing that in the ancient Kemetic culture as well, they always talk about the passage that the soul goes through on the afterlife, and it has to be weighed. The heart of the person has to be weighed against the feather, and you're supposed to make sure that your heart is as light or as truthful and as lawful as the feather. So in a nutshell, the feather represents upholding the laws of nature and maintaining balance. And as you can see, these are pictures of people from different tribes. This first photo up here is a painting, I think that was from 1708, of the emblem of America. And as you can see, this matriarch, this Aboriginal matriarch, is wearing the feathers on her crown, because she is standing and upholding the law. You have right here a woman from the Blackfoot clan who's wearing the feathers. This is another person from, I think this person is Cherokee, and they have the feather in their hair. And this young matriarch right here from the Wampanoag tribe, she has the feather in her hair as well. You're going to see that throughout the Americas and various tribes and clans, that you're going to see us wearing the feathers. Alright, and these are pictures. Now I'm going to show you guys some pictures of different soul and funk musicians rocking the feathers. You have George Clinton from the Parliament Funkadelic, and you see he has on the feather headdress with his robes on. You have Jeff Cherokee Bunn, who's also from Parliament Funkadelic, who obviously is Cherokee, and he's wearing the feathered headdress, and he even has the feathers on his guitar. And then of course you have the lovely Shaka Khan. And Shaka Khan, I truly admire her, because she's always going hard and representing her indigenous culture. She's actually Blackfoot, and you can see she has the feathers across her shirt and then her earrings. And there's several photos of Shaka Khan wearing her buckskins and her fringe and her feathers, and I'm going to show some more of those in the presentation. And here we go, Shaka Khan again, wearing the feather headdress. And of course, and Pam Grier, of course, she's not a funk or soul musician, but she was another person that was prevalent during that same time in the 60s and 70s. And she was always, just like Shaka, she was always representing her indigenous culture and representing it well. So there was no way that I could have created this presentation without including Pam Grier, because she's always been rocking it. She still rocks it to this day. And as you can see, she has the feathers, she has the bone necklaces, the fringe, And Pam Grier, I believe she's Cherokee. Braid symbolism. So braid symbolize strength, wisdom, and our infinite interconnection with the divine. It symbolizes mind, body, spirit, the three worlds, and multiple dimensions of the universe weave together as one. Traditional braided styles include plaits, cornrows, and micro braids or zillions. The braided symbolism is also represented in braided ropes and basket weaving as well. If you look at this picture of Diana Fletcher, who was from the Seminole Nation, you can see she's wearing, her hair is clearly braided and banded together. And she's even wearing the braided rope around her waist. She also has the fringe around her skirt, and she's wearing a robe. Robe symbolism. Robe symbolism. Robes symbolize authority, nobility, righteousness, honor, humility, and being covered by Hawa, or the Great Spirit. Robes are characterized as loose-fitting and flowing with long, wide sleeves. They are typically worn during rituals and ceremonies. And and I put this modern picture for example because we all still wear robes to this very day. Like this right here is clearly a graduating class from some university. I'm not exactly sure which university it's from, but all universities, when you graduate, you're wearing the robes and you're wearing the tassel or the fringe on the hat, and you have to turn. They have you put the tassel on the left, and then you're turning it to the right. I forgot if it was right to left, but basically you have the tassel on one side of the hat and you're going to switch it to the other side to represent 360 degrees of knowledge. But yeah, so that the robe is very has a lot of significant meaning, and that's why they have you wearing it during graduation ceremonies, and also in the church as well. People are wearing the robes, especially the choir. And as you can see in this picture, in this slide, you see two indigenous elders there wearing robe-like attire. It's made out of buckskin, but it's still a robe. And you can see they have the fringe on it as well. And then you have this brother right here, who I believe is from a southwestern tribe. And he has the robes on right here with the fringe lined on it. He also has two braids in his hair. I don't know if you guys can see it, but he has two little skinny braids in his hair. And then, of course, Diana Fletcher from the Seminole Nation, as I stated in the previous slides, she has the robe on, she has the braids in her hair, she has the braided rope in the fringe, so she has it all in one attire. So robes as worn by soul and funk musicians. So you have Stevie Wonder. His hair, he has the braids in his hair, the cornrows, and he's wearing a robe. And as you can see, he looks like he's in a meditative state. And this was, I believe, during a time where Stevie Wonder was really tapping deeper into his spirituality. And so it really makes sense for him to be wearing the robes. And it looks like he's like in the desert in the background, probably getting some deep spiritual healing. And then you have Earth, Wind, and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire has always been on it in terms of diving deep into our indigenous spirituality, and spreading that knowledge of self. And they always had the robes on and the fringe, and even right here you can see Maurice White. He has the fringe hanging down from his jumpsuit, and they all have the robes on in both of the pictures, just looking so rich and royal. Then you have the Supremes. They have the robes on, as you can see the wide sleeves, and they have this symbol in the center of their robe. If you could look closely at it, it looks like almost looks like a dream catcher or a medicine wheel type of symbolism. Donna Summer, she has the robes on with the fringe attached at the bottom. And then you have Isaac Hayes with the robes and with the braided rope around his waist. And this was from this picture was actually from the photo shoot for his album called Black Moses. So very interesting connection. Fringe symbolism. Fringes and tassels are attached to the corners of the garments to represent acknowledgement, remembrance, and upholding of the natural universal laws. They are typically worn during rituals and ceremonies, and as you can see, the two indigenous elders that I showed in the intro slide, they have the fringes on their clothes, as well as like the robe looking garments as well. So the fringe as worn by the soul and funk musicians, you have Roy Ayers, who's rocking the fringe, and and his the top he's wearing looks very much like a robe because it has the wide sleeves. You have Jimi Hendrix, who's also known for rocking the fringe and buckskin and things. And Jimi Hendrix, he from what I know, was Cherokee. And then you have the Jackson brothers, Michael, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon. They were always known for wearing fringe vests and the buckskin and things like that during the 70s. And from what I know, their family is Choctaw, so it makes a lot of sense. And then of course you have Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan, like I said, she's always been on it, always been representing the culture. I just thought these pictures of her were so beautiful. How she has the fringe and the feathers, but all buckskin. And even in this picture right here, the first picture, if you look closely, she has the medicine pouch around her neck. So yes, I absolutely love looking at pictures of Shaka Khan because she was just absolutely beautiful and graceful in how she represents our culture. And then of course I had to mention Tina Turner because Tina Turner was always wearing fringe back in the day. She has a fringe dress right here, and sometimes she would have different variations of the fringe. Like right here in this second photo, it's kind of like a jagged ripped dress type of look, but it's still like the fringe concept. And you can see she has the fringes right here as well as the feathers. But Tina Turner was always wearing fringe and feathers and stuff. So I definitely had to include her, and she's Cherokee by way of Tennessee. And then this is a modern example, but Destiny's Child. They was always Beyonce, Kelly, and Michelle, especially Beyonce. Like they was wearing hella fringe back in the early 2000s, and they was always wearing things to represent their Texas origins and their indigenous culture. And Beyonce, from what I know, she's always claimed to have indigenous ancestry, and she always represented it, in her music and in her fashion, as far as I know, especially back in the day. Like, she's on that African stuff now, but back in the early 2000s, she definitely was representing indigenous culture. But yeah, these are some examples of them wearing the fringe, and I believe that Beyonce's mom, Tina, designed these outfits that they're wearing. She actually designed a lot of their early outfits and stage costumes. And you see they have the fringe on. They have robe looking. Michelle has a robe looking top, and then they have the turquoise, which is also indigenous. The cowgirl hats. Because you have to remember, we were both the cowboys and the Indians, so that's all part of our culture. So kudos to them for repping the culture as hard as they did back then. Woven fabric and animal skin. So I want to talk about the materials that our main clothing was typically made out of. And when I say the main clothing, I mean like the skirts and the tops and bottoms that we used to wear. So our tops and bottoms were made from woven fabrics and animal skins. And these are examples of traditional Choctaw regalia and clothing. As you can see, the woman, she has like this woven skirt, and she has a cape. The cape, which could have been a woven cape, but it also could have been feathers also attached to the cape. You have another picture of a Choctaw woman with the woven skirt, and she's also you can see the traditional mortar and pestle, which would have been made out of wood or stone back then. And then this is a Choctaw man, and he has like this loincloth, this loincloth or breechcloth type of skirt. Well, it's not a skirt, but it's breechcloth. It's a loincloth. And the pants, which look like they could have been made out of some animal skin, like buckskin. Probably more than likely buckskin or buffalo skin. And it's another drawing of a Choctaw woman with the woven skirt. So this first picture right here is a real traditional Choctaw skirt, which is made from woven fabric. And basically, they would weave the fabrics, the woven fabrics that they made back then would have been typically made from like plants, like fibers from tree bark or cotton, dried leaves. They would make grass skirts and things like that. And these next two pictures are people from the are modern photos from some Taino tribe members. And as you can see, they have the same concept in their clothing. It's that natural woven fabric. And some of them even have the fringes at the bottom of their loincloths. And of course, they have the feathers. Animal skins. Our people have always worn animal skins, because you got people that have this misconception, oh, the American Indians, we were just which we were one with nature, but being one with nature doesn't mean that we didn't partake in the slaughtering of animals, or because we definitely ate meat and we definitely wore animal skins, because there's a lot of European vegans and European animal rights folks that are trying to put out this lie that American Indians didn't slaughter animals and we were just one with animals, which we were one with animals. But when it came time to sacrificing an animal and asking permission from Hawa to use that animal to nourish us in some way, we definitely did that. But of course, we always asked for permission. Even when you're picking plants, you still have to ask for permission, and as you can see, they're all wearing the traditional animal skin regalia. He has the loincloth, which is probably made from buckskin. His pouch looks like it might have been from a beaver pellet or some type of aquatic animal. And he has the feathers. This is actually a figurine of a Lenape man. The Lenape who existed in the northeast or the eastern coast of the United States. This picture right here is a modern day Wampanoag woman, and as you can see, she has the animal skin, in her dress, and this cloak that she has wrapped around her. And this third photo is another Wampanoag woman, modern day Wampanoag woman, who has the animal skin dress, and you can see she has the fringes on her dress too. And then I want to share some modern day photos of our people in the animal skins. Here you have Destiny's Child again, who has the animal skins on, looking very, very indigenous. You have the Migos up here with the bear skins on, and I'm not sure exactly which specific animals that the other two are wearing. This one right here looks like it's fox fur. And then they got the bow and arrow, just looking indigenous. Then you have Little Kim. Little Kim, she was always known back in the day for wearing fur, and she has it's like chinchilla fur. But a lot of our people, wearing animal skin has always been in our fashion, as a people, like, and especially back in the day. And you're gonna come across a lot of photos from back then, back in the early 2000s, and even prior to that, of our people rocking the fur coats, especially them New York folks like Lil Kim. And then you have Mary J. Blige. She has the fur coat and the hat. It's actually this is called a trapper's hat that she's wearing. Jennifer Lopez, and then Raven Simone as well. She was always rocking the animal skin jackets back then. And a lot of our people, especially like the rappers and things, they will always catch a lot of flack back in the day from these European animal rights movements and European vegan movements like PETA, and they will always try to degrade our people and throw our people under the bus for wearing animal skins. And the whole thing is, we always been wearing that. That's always been a part of our culture since before the Europeans came over. Now the problem comes when people become overindulgent in it. Now if you got, because you don't need but one, you only need one fur coat. Now if you were buying 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different fur coats, okay, then that's a problem, because we have to remember that our people, prior to colonization, we were a minimalist type of people. We only took from nature what we needed, and we always, like I said, we always asked for permission from the Most High before we took anything from nature. And we have to really start getting back to that, asking for permission from nature, giving back to nature, and only taking what we need. We weren't just out there senselessly killing animals, like, just for the sake of making a coat because it looks cute, or, if you don't need it, then you don't need to buy it. It's as simple as that. If you don't need it, then you don't need to take it from the nature. So it's nothing wrong with wearing animal skins, because our people, especially our people who are living in colder climates, and if you live in a colder area of the country like I do up north, where temperatures can get below zero, animal skins pretty much have proven themselves to be the most effective in keeping you warm, because if the skin of that animal is keeping them warm in these climates, of course, if we wear, it's going to keep us warm. So if you're living in a cold climate, you're going to want to wear either the animal skins, or you're going to want to wear a coat that has the goose down in it, because that's really the only thing that's going to really keep you warm in below zero temperature. It just is what it is. But yeah, that's all I have for you all today. So the next topic I'm going to touch on in another video. I'm probably going to do one on our hairstyles, and I'm also going to do one that's going to be specifically on the adornments that we wore, like the jewelries and the headdresses, headpieces and stuff like that, the different accessories that our people wear today that reflect back into our original culture. So that's going to be the next two videos in the series. So keep be on the lookout for that. Be sure to check out our website at www.okaohoyo.com. And you can we have a blog on the website that has cultural information as well. We have herbal medicinal herbal products for sale, as well as ritual herbs for sale. And we also have services available for the people, such as Reiki healing. I do readings. What else do I do? I do a number of things. I also have different classes that I teach outside of YouTube that go more into depth, that you could be on the lookout for, and register and order a ticket. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube page, and be sure to click that notification button to make sure that you're getting all the notifications of our latest videos. And thank you all so much for watching. See you next time.